Welcome to EPG Pathshala on the subject Social Medicine and Community Health. I am Professor C.P. Mishra, working in the Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. Today I shall be discussing the module Hospital or Biomedical Waste Management. This is a module which belongs to the paper Environmental Health. The module under consideration has been developed by a team comprising of myself as principal investigator, Dr. Professor V.M. Gupta, ex-professor and head, Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi as paper coordinator. The content has been written by Dr. Mili Mishra from Department of Community Medicine, Hind Institute of Medical Sciences, Barabanki, and the content has been reviewed by Dr. J. Tandon, ex-professor and head, Department of Community Medicine, Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. The learning objectives that has been set for this module are: number one should be able to describe what is waste and its types, different types, composition and amount of hospital waste, problems of hospital waste, infection caused by hospital waste, people at risk of biomedical waste, sources of biomedical waste, route of exposure and health hazards of biomedical waste, steps in disposal of biomedical waste, and provisions of biomedical waste management rules 2016 and its recommendations. Hospital waste management, if you want to understand it, first of all we should understand what is waste. Waste is anything which is not intended for further use. So, if any material that has been discarded from the hospital, that should not be reused. Hospital waste, healthcare waste includes garbage, refuse, rubbish, and biomedical waste. Biomedical waste is the waste generated during diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of human beings or animals, or in research activities pertaining therein to, or in the procedure of testing of biological materials. Hazardous waste, any waste which due to its toxic, harmful, explosive or corrosive characteristics causes danger or likely to cause danger to the health or environment. So that comes under the purview of hazardous waste. Biomedical waste, majority of the is of non-infectious waste. 80% of the waste is non-infectious waste. About 15% are pathological and infectious waste. 1% are SOPs, radioactive, cytotoxic and heavy metals constitute 1%, and chemical and pharmaceutical waste contribute around 3%. So 80% of the biomedical waste are non-infectious in nature. According to World Health Organization, 85% is the non-hazardous waste, 10% is infectious, and 5% are non-infectious. There are different types of hospital waste. General waste, that is domestic or household type waste. Non-hazardous, kitchen waste, packaging material, paper, wrappers, plastics. Pathological waste consists of tissue, organ, body part, human fetuses, blood and blood fluid. It is a hazardous waste. Infectious waste contains pathogens in sufficient concentration or quantity that could cause diseases and is hazardous. Culture and stocks from laboratories, waste from surgery, from infectious patients. Sops cause the person handling it, or a cut or puncture of skin, needles, broken glass, saws, nails and blades and scalpels. Pharmaceutical waste, pharmaceutical products, drugs and chemicals returned from wars, spilled or outdated or contaminated items. Chemical waste, discarded solid, liquid and gaseous chemicals, cleaning, housekeeping and disinfecting products. And radioactive waste, may be solid, may be liquid or gaseous waste that is contaminated with radionuclide generated from in vitro analysis of body tissues and fluid, in vivo body organ imaging, and tumor localization and therapeutic procedures. Amount and composition of hospital bed generated. The amount varies from country to country. Say for example, in UK it is 2.5 kg per bed per day. In US it is 4.5 kg per bed per day. In France it is 2.5 kg per bed per day. In Spain it is 3 kg, 0 kg per bed per day, and India it is around 1.5 kg per bed per day. As far as hazardous and non-hazardous portion is concerned, hazardous portion is around 15%, hazardous but non-infective 5%, hazardous and infective are around 10%, and non-hazardous are 85%. By weight, plastic 14%, combustible, dry subabatic solid and wet subabatic solids 45% and 18%, and non-combustible are around 20%. Problems of hospital waste are many. According to the Ministry of Environment and Forest, gross generation of biomedical waste in India is 4,05,702 kg per day, of which only 2,91,983 kg per day is disposed, which means that almost 28% of waste is left untreated and not disposed, finding its way into dumps or water bodies and re-enters our system and causing many problems. In terms of quantum of waste generated from the states, Karnataka tops the chart with 62,241 kg per day of biomedical waste. Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Kerala come close to the heels with 44,392 kg per day, 40,197 kg per day, and 32,884 kg per day of biomedical waste generation respectively. Why should we be concerned? If you look at this diagram, the total biomedical waste generated in our country is 484 tons per day from 1,68,000 HCFs. Of this only 4 TPDs is treated before disposal, and this phenomena results into air pollution, infection acquired from hospitals, scavenging by regulars and animals may take the disease to other places, and it may cause pollution of water bodies. AIDS, hepatitis and TB can be caused by contaminated syringes and needles and so on. So there's every reason why we should be concerned about hospital waste disposal. Besides being a public nuisance, it may cause serious hazards to the human health and environment. Just I discussed, many things can happen, and refuse of drugs and disposables creates a number of problems. A number of diseases can be transmitted, like gastroenteric infections, Enterobacteria, Salmonella, Shigella species, Vibrio cholerae, helminths. And transmission vehicles are either feces or the vomit of the patient. There may be respiratory infections in terms of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, measles virus, Streptococcus pneumonia, inhaled secretions in saliva. There could be ocular infections like herpesviruses, from eye secretions, genital infections, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, herpes virus, genital secretions, skin infections, Streptococcus species, particularly pus. There could be anthrax due to Bacillus anthracis from skin secretions. We can get meningitis cases due to Neisseria meningitidis from CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. There will be a case of acquired immunodeficiency syndrome AIDS through human deficiency virus, through blood and sexual secretions. Hemorrhagic fevers like Junin, Lassa, Ebola, and Marburg viruses, all body products and secretions. Septicemia, Staphylococcus species blood. We may get bacteremia by Coagulose negative, Streptococcus species, by Staphylococcus aureus, by Enterobacteria, Enterococcus, Klebsiella, and Streptococcus species. There may be cases of candidemia due to Candida albicans through blood, and viral hepatitis A, viral hepatitis B and C, and also E. So, hepatitis A virus, hepatitis B and C viruses through blood and body fluids. So, a number of diseases can be transmitted through products generated from the hospitals. Sources of biomedical waste are many. The sources can be basically classified into major sources, minor sources. Major sources are hospitals, laboratories, research centers, animal research, blood banks, nursing homes, mortuaries, autopsy centers. And minor sources could be clinics, dental clinics, home care, cosmetic clinics, paramedics, funeral services, and many institutions can generate this. People at risk are doctors, nurses, paramedics, and hospital personnel are at the greatest risk. Patients and visitors, the visitors may be also at risk for other diseases. Workers in the waste disposal facilities are at greater risk, and scavengers. They are at greatest risk. Others may also be at risk, but the people at risk, the risk is more in these particular people who come directly in contact with the hospital waste and general public. Routes of exposure: inhalation of dust particles containing germs, intact or non-intact skin mucous membrane, by ingestion, contaminated unwashed hands, contaminated food and water, and toxicity can occur either by acute or chronic exposure to both. Health hazards of healthcare waste can be basically classified in different groups. The first group will be infection, which I have discussed. There will be genotoxicity and cytotoxicity. There may be chemical toxicity, radioactivity hazards, physical injuries by sops and needles, and public sensitivities, particularly in terms of public nuisance. So these are some of the problems that are we concerned? Yes, we are concerned. A study in Allahabad revealed doctors, nurses, and laboratory technicians have better knowledge than sanitary staff regarding biomedical waste management. Knowledge regarding the color coding and waste segregation at source was found to be better among nurses and laboratory staff in compared to doctors. And regarding practices related to biomedical waste management, sanitary staff were ignorant on all the counts, which is unfortunate. Now, what to do with the waste? Dispose of the infectious and hazardous part, costs of proper disposal estimation, make and abide an effective workup policy for treatment and disposal of the waste. Continued assessment of the working protocol. This is the usual thing that we have to take care. Color coding, hazardous products, and how to do it. Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016 has been come out, and that provides the guidelines for management of the waste. The original act was passed in 1998, named as Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules. The rule was amended in 2011 under the same name, and at present this is known as Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. In 2016, the rule was changed to Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. The 5 guiding principles are: polluter pays, precautionary principles, duty of care principle, proximity principle, and prior informed consent principle, also known as cradle to grave control. The rules shall not apply to radioactive waste as covered under the provisions of Atomic Energy Act 1962-32 of 1962 and the rules made under therein. Hazardous chemicals covered under manufacture, storage and improper import of hazardous chemicals rules 1989 made under the Act. Solid waste covered under the Municipal Solid Waste Management Handling Rules 2000 made under the Act. The lead acid batteries covered under the Batteries Management and Handling Rules 2001 made under the Act. And hazardous waste covered under the Hazardous Waste Management Handling and Transboundary Movement Rules 2008 made under the Act. Waste covered under the E-Waste Management Handling Rules 2011 made under the Act. And hazardous microorganisms, genetically engineered microorganisms and cell covered under the Manufacture, Use and Import and Export of hazardous genetically engineered microorganisms and so on. So there are certain areas where the rule will not apply. Steps of disposals are: number 1, identification of areas of waste generation. That's the first step and very important step. The second is categorization, quantification of waste and minimization techniques. And third is segregation, handling and storage. And lastly, treatment, destruction and disposal. Identification of areas of waste generation. There are certain units where waste is specifically generated, like outpatient, soiled waste, gauze, bandages, solid waste, plastic and sops. Injection room, soiled waste, sops and solid waste are generated. General ward, sops waste, solid waste and soiled waste. Labor room, body part, placenta, sops waste, solid waste and soiled waste. Operation theatre, body parts, sops waste, solid waste and soiled waste. Intensive care units, SARP waste, solid waste, soiled waste. Casualty emergency department, SARP waste, solid waste and soiled waste. Laboratory, SOPs, solid waste, soiled waste and biologicals, cultural media and pharmacy, discarded medicines. The next step is categorization, quantification of waste and waste minimization. And for this purpose, we have to identify a particular bins. The waste has to be categorized and kept separately. Segregation, handling, packaging, transportation of storage. Biomedical waste should not be mixed with other wastes. That's first principle. And there are different types of pots that can be used or where waste can be kept. There should be dedicated trolleys and there should be a central storage. Biomedical waste shall be segregated into containers or bags at the point of generation. Containers or bags shall be labeled Operator of a CBMWFT shall transport the biomedical waste from the premises to an occupier to the CBMWFT only in the vehicles having level. Vehicles for transportation of biomedical waste shall comply with the conditions stipulated by the State Pollution Control Board or Pollution Control Committee in relation to the requirement contained in the Motor Vehicles Act 1988. Human, anatomical, animal waste, soil and biotechnology waste shall not be stored beyond 48 hours. I repeat, human, anatomical, animal waste, soil and biotechnology waste shall not be stored beyond 48 hours. Microbiology waste and all other clinical laboratory waste shall be pre-treated by sterilization to the log 6 or disinfection to log 4 as per the WHO NACO guidelines before packing and sending to the common biomedical waste treatment facility. Treatment, destruction and disposal. So this is the vehicle, there is the autoclave, there is an incinerator, there is a metal recycler, and finally the effluents where they are nuclear, and there should be a manual guiding principles or manual standard procedures for SOPs. Label for biomedical waste containers bags. This first symbol, there are symbols for biohazard or cytotoxic drugs and handle with care. Labels shall be non-washable and prominently visible. Items and equipments required for biomedical waste. We need mask, cap, we need gloves, boot or also overgarment or apron. Waste segregation bags and bins are of different colors. Okay, blue, yellow and red and black. And the trolleys are also of different color. Protective aids are required, and there should be personal protection for the persons who are handling these waste. Yellow container, then particularly whatever material is kept in yellow containers as per the guidelines, they are put for incineration, plasma, pyrolysis and deep burial. And from the center store they are ultimately put on there. Yellow category, liquid waste generated due to use of chemicals or production of biological and used or discarded disinfectants, formalin, body fluids and floor washings and cleaning. So these liquid waste, they are separate collection system leading to efficient treatment system and effluent pre-treated before releasing with the other wastewater. Then we have red categories, tubes, bottles, catheters, syringes without needles. We mutilate red container, central store, and then they are transported and finally they are autoclaved, then microwave or hydroclaving is done. Then we have blue category, needles, blades put in center stores, they are carried to the other side, then autoclaving, dry heat, sterilization, shredding and so on. And blue category, glass waste, except cytotoxic drugs, disinfection, center storage, and finally autoclaving, dry heat, sterilization and microwaves. In 2016 rule, yellow categories are human anatomical waste, which includes human tissues, organs, body parts, and fetus below the viability period as per Medical Terminatory Pregnancy Act 1917, amended from time to time. And animal anatomical waste, experimental animals, carcasses, body parts, organs, tissues, including the waste generated from animals used in the experiments of testing in multiple hospitals or colleges or animals. Yellow colored, non-colored plastic bags, and method of treatment is incineration or plastic pyrolysis or deep burial. Then solid waste items containing contaminated with blood, body fluids like dressings, plastic cast, cotton mesh wraps, and bags containing residual or discarded blood and blood products. They are handled by incineration or plasma pyrolysis or deep burial. In essence, other facilities, autoclaving or microwaving. Bags containing residual or discarded blood and blood components, hydroclaving followed by shedding or mutilation or contamination of sterilization and shedding, treated waste to be sent for energy recovery. Then expired or discarded medicines, pharmaceutical waste like antibiotics, cytotoxic drugs, including all items containing with cytotoxic drugs, along with glass or plastic ampoules, vials, and along. Yellow colored and non-chlorinated plastic bags or containers, they are used. And expired cytotoxic drugs and items contaminated with cytotoxic drugs to be returned back to the manufacturer or supplier for incineration at temperature more than 1200 degrees centigrade, or to common biomedical waste treatment facility or a hazardous waste treatment storage and disposal facility for incineration, encapsulation or plasma pyrolysis at more than 1200 degrees centigrade. All other discarded medicines shall be sent back to the manufacturer or disposed by the incineration. Chemical wastes used in or produced in biological and used for are discarded disinfectants, yellow colored containers or non-chlorinated plastic bag, disposed by incineration of plasma pyrolysis or encapsulation in a hazardous waste treatment storage and disposal facility. Chemical liquid waste generated due to use of chemicals in production of biological and use in discarded disinfectants, silver, X-ray film developed during developing liquid, discarded formula infected secretions, aspirated body fluids, liquid from laboratories and floor washings, cleaning, housekeeping and disinfecting activities, separate collection system leading to effluent treatment system. After resource recovery, the chemical liquid waste shall be pre-treated before mixing with other wastewater. The combined discharge shall conform to the discharge norms given in Schedule 3. The discarded linen, mattresses, beddings contaminated with blood or body fluids, non-chlorinated yellow plastic bags are suitable packaging material. Non-chlorinated chemical disinfectants followed by incineration or plasma pyrolysis are for energy recovery is the treatment method. In absence of above facilities, shredding or mutilation or combination of sterilization and shredding treated water to be sent for energy recovery or incineration or plasma pyrolysis. Microscopy, biotechnology and other clinical laboratory waste, blood bags, laboratory cultures, stocks or specimens of microorganisms, live or attenuated vaccines, human and animal cell cultures used in research, industrial laboratories, production of biological residues, toxins, dishes and devices, and for cultures, autoclave safe plastic bags or containers, pre-treat to sterilize with non-chlorinated chemicals on site as per National AIDS Control Organization or World Health Organization guidelines, thereafter for incineration. Now, these were the things that has to be carried through yellow bags. Now, as far as red bag is concerned, contaminated waste, recyclable. waste generated from disposable items such as tubing, bottles, intravenous tubes, and set catheters, urine bags, syringes without needle, and fixed needle syringes, and vacutainers with their needles cut, and gloves. Red colored, non-corrugated plastic bags or containers, they are transported to that. And treatment procedure is autoclaving or microwaving, hydroclaving, followed by shredding or mutilation or combination of sterilization and shredding. Treated waste to be sent to registered or authorized recyclers or for energy recovery, or plastic to diesel or fuel oil, or for road making, whichever is possible. Plastic waste should not be sent to landfill sites. Then comes the white translucent bag, waste stops including metals, needles, syringes with fixed needles, needles from needle tip cutter or burner, scalpels, blades, or any other contaminated sharp object that may cause puncture and cuts. This includes both used, discarded, and contaminated metal sharps. Puncture proof, leak proof, tamper proof containers, and the method of choice is autoclaving or dry heat sterilization, followed by shredding or mutilation or encapsulation in metal container or cement concrete, combination of shredding, autoclaving, and sent for final disposal to iron foundries having consent to operate from the State Pollution Control Board or Pollution Control Committees or sanitary landfill or desired concrete waste sort pit. Then blue, in blue we take glasswares broken or discarded and contaminated glass, including medicines, vials, ampoules, except those contaminated with cytotoxic waste. Cardboard boxes with blue color making. Disinfection by soaking the washed glass waste after cleaning with detergent and sodium hypochlorite treatment, or through autoclaving or microwaving or hydroclaving, and then sent for recycling. Metal body implants, cardboard boxes with blue colored making. Now, just to summarize, that in 1990 Act what was happening, in 2011 amendment what was done, and in 2016 Act. Categories of segregation, there are 10. In 2011 it became 8, and in 2016 Act there are 4 colors, color coding. Color coding, earlier yellow 1, 2, 3, 6, red 3, 6 and 7, blue and white 4 and 7, and black 5, 9 and 10 solid categories were included. Which in 2011 amendment, there are yellow 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 5, 6 was there, and red 3, 4, 7, 8, blue 8, and black municipal waste. Now we have yellow, red, white and blue and green for municipal wastes. Pretreatment for waste sops, solid disposable waste tubes, gloves, liquid waste and chemical waste, same as before. Only in case of microbiological or biotechnological waste by non-correlated agents as per NACO or WHO law. Pre-treatment agent was 1% hypochlorite in 1919 Act. Same was the situation in 2010, but it has been enhanced to 10% hypochlorite solution. Monitoring no provision in 1919 Act and 2011 Act, but in 2016 Act, the monitoring has been considered a very important input at district level, a committee, then state level committee, then central level committee by the Ministry of Environment. Then requirement of at HCF, incinerator, autoclave, microwave, no specification of on-site treatment, no mention of who will set up CBMWFT, same, now in 2016 Act, the department dealing with allocation of land and the state government shall provide land for setting up CBM WTF sites, on-site treatment and disposal facility if CBMWF is available within 75 km. Authorization 1000 bedded SCF. All SCF bedded hospital will get automatic authorization and non-bedded will get one-time authorization. Standards of emission SPM 150 milligram per nm to the power cube. Same SPM 50, it has been reduced to that. Standard retention time in the secondary chamber 1 second. Same, now it has been made 2 seconds. Other new rules in 2016 are phase out chlorinated plastic bags, gloves and blood bags within 2 years, pre-treatment of laboratory, microbiological waste, blood samples and blood bags through disinfection installation on-site, WHO and NACO guidelines, provide treatment to all healthcare workers and immunize them regularly, establish barcode systems and GPS shall be added by the occupier and CBMWF TF in 1 year time for bags, containers containing biomedical waste. Report major accidents. Existing incinerators to achieve the standards for retention time in secondary chamber and dioxin and fluorans within 2 years. State governments to provide land for setting up CBMWF-TF, and no occupier shall establish on-site treatment and disposal facility if a service of CBMWF-T is available at a distance of 75 km. Recommendations are, there are a number of recommendations. The first recommendation and the most important recommendation is education and training healthcare workers for universal safety precautions. More organized efforts to collect healthcare waste and development of monitoring system to see adherence to the infection control practices and proper disposal of medical waste. And education and promoted disinfection of used syringes and destruction of needles before the final disposal. So the basic principle, just to summarize, is that in hospital waste management, the basic effort should be the reduce its production, reuse to be stopped, and recycling procedure. So reduce, reuse, recycling, recovery, and these are the methods, usual methods that principle should be followed. Finally, to conclude, hospital waste management, though majority of the hospital waste is not non-infectious type, 85% nearly, but whatever, if it is not disposed properly, it can pose a very serious threat to the environment as well as the human being, and therefore a number of guidelines and strategies have been evolved in 2016, and its proper implementation will ensure that there is a proper hospital waste disposal and therefore its adverse consequences are minimized. Thank you very much for visiting EPG Pathshala.